This is the O-Review podcast. O-Review.
Welcome to another episode of Oakley Reviews. Today I'm going to go over the T-Wire 2.0 in titanium and titanium clear. I got these for a wedding present. Last week I reviewed my X-Metal 20, which I wore during my wedding, but my brother actually surprised me and got me this pair for my wedding. I'd been looking at the clear lenses, which I sort of liked, and I wanted to pick up a pair, but there weren't really many out there that had the clear option except for these. However, unlike most wires which went around like $150, $160, these were $225, which was only about $50 cheaper than the X-Metals at the time. So I put them on hold, didn't really go after them, pursue them much. And then right the night before my wedding, we were giving out gifts and things like that. And my brother ended up giving me this package here, a picture of me and my wife and I rather, date of our wedding, all that fun stuff. And I was like, all right, there can't be anything in this. So it actually took me a while to finally open this. I figured it was just sort of a gag gift. But then lo and behold, I open it up and I get the T-Wire 2.0. This is the age where they had all the black and white images on the box, just plain black box, logo images on the back, raised icon. I really like these boxes. First of all, they told you what is inside, so you don't have just a generic brown box or whatever. But the artwork was really nice. The way the products were laid out was beautiful. So I really like these boxes. I wish they kind of stayed with that, but times change and makes you appreciate what you had. So I'm just going to go over the glasses. They're modeled after the Square Wire 2.0. The original T-Wire was modeled after the E-Wire, but in 1999 when they had the whole product change and they moved everything over to the new icons, new designs, they redid all the wires, they redid a lot of the jackets, a lot of things changed in 1999. This changed along with it and it moved to the Square Wire. Now, the Square Wire came in two. It came in this the regular hinge and the spring hinge. This model's just the regular swing hinge, so it's not the spring hinge model. So there really isn't any flex aside from what you get in the frame. But since it's titanium, you can bend this a lot. It's not going to have a problem. The nose bridge is welded, so that's not really going to loosen up over time. So that should be rock solid. The only give you may have is just in the screw here, where where the stem basically rotates. Traditional nose bombs are here. They're basically not removable. There's just looped wires here that have the pads, and that keeps it on your face. There's ear socks on either side. When I took these out, I noticed there was a little bit of gumminess here. A lot of times the lighter unobtainium tends to degrade over time. I also noticed this with the orange ones too. The main problem with unobtainium is that over time it absorbs your sweat, and that's kind of what it's designed to do. But when it absorbs your sweat, it sort of keeps it there, however minute. And then, the right conditions happen, they'll suddenly release all that water or moisture, and then they tend to sort of get gummy, they leak, they get all sorts of gross stuff. So, not terribly pleasant. I just sort of wiped it off with a wet towel, then dried it. It seems to be okay now. A little tacky, but, it is kind of the purpose. It's meant to be used, it's meant to serve that purpose, but I did wear these quite a lot, especially for nighttime driving. And, when things get used, they tend to have some sort of wear and tear on it. So it is just sort of the way it is. But overall, they're very light. Obviously, the titanium versus aluminum, you do notice a difference. I'm currently wearing a pair of crosshairs now in titanium, and it's a night and day difference. It's you hardly feel it on. It's a wonderful piece to wear, and these are no different. And these are even lighter. The height difference between the crosshair and the Square Wire and the T-Wire is obviously going to be a lot different. Just to kind of wear these on. The nice thing with the titanium iridium is that you do get sort of an iridium there, so it's not a pure clear lens. But as far as looking through it, you don't really lose a lot of light, so that's nice. I don't really see a whole lot of difference between, it being a shorter lens because there's nothing up here. I don't really see a whole lot down there, so you don't really need a huge aviator to cover your vision. But I know some people, it tends to ride down a bit and they can see a lot in there. So depending on how your face is shaped, you may get slightly different wear. One point of mention that these lenses are actually too small to be sold in Australia. So that's why sometimes you have a Square Wire 30mm, which has a slightly larger lens. So if you're in Australia, I don't believe these are actually able to be legally sold. So you're only going to find these specific ones in outside Australia. Same went with the penny. The penny was actually not able to be sold in Australia for the same reasons. So in addition to the lightness of titanium, you're going to get a really strong bridge here. You're not going to be able to really, break this. I'm sure if you bent it too far, you could. I've seen people even break X metal, so it is possible. But overall, you're really not going to have a durability issue with this pair. Really nice pair overall. Fit is comfortable, doesn't squeeze your head. Even though there's no spring hinge, I really haven't seen the need for that. I really don't even like spring hinge. The pair I had before this was the spring hinge square wire, just the regular one, and I didn't like it too much. First of all, it pinched your hair. It's another point of failure too, because sometimes when you have a spring hinge, things can go wrong. The spring hinge doesn't work anymore. So I just like the traditional swivel lens. I think it serves its purpose, and I really like it. So we have some icons here that are just inset into the frame. This was consistent along all the wires that debuted in 1999 that were converted over from the earlier 90s range. Other than that, we have the Oakley stretch logo in the nose bridge. And we also have the word titanium etched into the bottom here. Anything that had a titanium frame or had titanium iridium usually had that titanium etching at the bottom. So that's something that was consistent along models during that era. Nowadays, we have etching at the bottom of almost everything. All the limited series, all of the X metals, everything has etching on it nowadays. But back in the day, that was pretty much the only thing that had etching. Actually, the T-Wire original, the 1.0 back in the 90s, was one of the first pairs that even had etching at all. So it's kind of a milestone for this pair. So, other than that, the purposes, this only came in two colorways. It came with the same model with titanium iridium versus titanium clear iridium. So one was more of a daytime model, one was more of a nighttime model. I have worn these at night sometimes. They're kind of good, just lifestyle pairs. And, they work well for that. Functionally, if during the day, you're really not going to wear it, but it is a good sort of casual piece to wear. So that kind of rips up a quick review of that. Next time I want to go over the Wisdom Goggle, because I also received that as a gift that year. And I'm just going to go over one of the colorways I had because I really like the high blue lens, which was not available on many sunglasses, but was available on many goggles. So I'm going to go over that. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed this and take care. Thank you.